Hey guys, Drew Burks here, and I got a quick little time freedom strategy for you. Some people might call it a hack, but it's specifically for people like coaches, whether it's life coaches, fitness coaches, business coaches, consultants, public speakers, primarily anyone who's trading the majority of their time for the majority of their money. So if any of these sound familiar, then you are definitely going to find some value in this. If none of these sound familiar, then you may want to just stop, click stop and go do something else. But anyway, if your follow-up with your prospects and clients is inconsistent at best, meaning do you frequently drop the ball? Do you frequently lose out on deals because you did a poor job or an inconsistent job at following up with them? Do you have times where you're just not sure where your next client's going to come from? You have some really good weeks, maybe some really good months, and then maybe some really down. So it's like the roller coaster of being an entrepreneur, right? Some weeks are good, some months are good, and some weeks and months are not good. Do you waste a lot of time with prospects who aren't serious? Meaning, do you talk with a lot of looky-loos and tire kickers and time vampires? And do you spend more time than you should or more time than you would like to with prospects and clients trying to schedule times or reschedule times? You know the dance. It goes, the emails back and forth. Hey, how's Tuesday at 2 o'clock? No, that doesn't work. How about Wednesday at 1 o'clock? No, that doesn't work. How about Friday at 10 a.m.? So I'm going to, if you struggle with that, if you do that dance, most of us have done it, then you're definitely in the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a campaign. Now, I've taken a series of campaigns, put them into a single screenshot here, and I've kind of simplified them so that I could fit it all on one page for you. So I broke it up into 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And obviously I had to keep it generic enough that it could be, regardless of where you are at in your business, you could kind of envision this working, and not so simple that you would think, oh, well, it won't help me. So the first thing I want to do is walk you through, again, specific, if you're coaches and consultants, if that's the type of business you're in, this works really well. I myself use it. I've done it with hundreds of clients over the years, and it always works. So first thing is set up an application. And the reason why I do this is you want to weed out the people that aren't serious, right? The people aren't serious, they're not going to fill out an application. The other thing it does for you is it starts to give you an idea of how serious the prospects are. It gives you some insight to who they are, and it kind of preps you before you get on the phone with them. And the more, the better idea you have of who your client is, the more dynamic you can make this application. And I'll talk to you about that a little bit later. But so the first thing we're doing is to save some time. Is we're going to set an application up, and it's going to start to weed out people that aren't serious. So the only people that come through here are arguably those who are serious. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to automate all your follow-up. We're going to automate the ability for them to schedule an appointment on your calendar. Now, there are a lot of services that do this, but we're going to connect it. I like to connect it with Infusionsoft here so that they fill the form, they get an email that says, hey, thanks for filling out the application. Go ahead and click this link and pick a time on my calendar it works well for you so we can do our free call or free consultation or free strategy session or whatever it is. It could even be a paid session at this point. Now, once they've scheduled an appointment, we want to automate the follow-up there. Hey, thanks so much. I see you scheduled an appointment. And you can make this very dynamic. So I look forward to talking to you Tuesday at 10 a.m. or I look forward to talking to you Thursday at 2 p.m. Whatever date and time they chose on your calendar, we can merge that right into your email. So it seems very personal. It seems very real. And we can also then send a series of, or a combination of, both email reminders and text reminders. And then once you talk to the prospect here, because at this point this is not a digital training course, this is someone you need to actually be on the phone to speak to someone. So we're going to utilize notes here. And once we talk to them, this is where they would then go into your sales pipeline. And so what I had to do again is just pick something very generic here. So cold prospect, warm prospect, hot prospect. Now I realize your sales pipeline might actually be a series of 2 steps. It could be 1 step. It might be 6 steps. It could be 10 or 12 steps. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what's possible. And there's no limit on this. We could replicate any sales pipeline here. And if you know Infusionsoft, you might be asking, well, why'd I use 3 different strategies here? And I just did that because with anything, there's more than one way to achieve a goal. So based on your specific needs and how you might want to use the system, there's different ways to do that. So, but this is not an Infusionsoft class, so we'll just kind of breeze over that. But just know that's why we did this, just to show there are multiple ways to achieve this exact strategy. And what we would do is if we talk to this person, we find out they're months and months away from actually doing any business with them. Well, then we might move them here into this stage where we can provide some long-term nurture, some, maybe some videos, maybe an email series, maybe some blog posts, whatever it is, that would all go in here. Now the goal, of course, is move them from cold to warm and from warm to hot. So within each one of these little rectangle sequences here will be a series of content. Again, blog posts, videos, webinars, whatever it is, quizzes even could go in here. And then the goal of all of this, the goal of stage one is to make sure that we're only talking to people who are qualified, willing, and able to do business with us. The goal of this is to move everyone from wherever they're at to a paid client. And then in here again, we want to automate the follow-up and the client onboarding. And so this might actually be a series of 3 or 4 different sequences and goals, kind of like this one. Again, this will be unique to every business. Now, what I've done here is went a little bit deeper into each one of these steps. So in step 1, again, having an application is going to save you a tremendous amount of time, and not only is it going to save you time with the prospecting and qualifying people, but it's actually going to make better use of the time that you are investing talking to these people because they've already went through this process. More people are going to show up to your meetings and your appointments because we're actually going to automate and use a combination of emails and texting to make sure that they actually show up. And this I was going to say for the bonus, but there's actually a way to use something called slide broadcasting, which actually lets you record a voice message, and then it just puts that voice message on someone's voicemail, so their phone doesn't ring, but they get a voicemail from you. And there's ways to make that seem really, again, high touch, personal, and just works incredibly well. In these reminders here, you also might want to use a series of videos. Now, videos could be, again, really personal, like, hey, thanks so much for applying. I can't wait to talk to you. I'm really looking forward to our conversation. Based on how dynamic you make the application, you could actually have videos for each of the different responses. So let's say you had from the application, maybe you could tell based on their answers, there would be cold prospects, warm prospects, and hot prospects. So you could record a video unique to each one of those segments. So a lot of really cool things you can do here to, again, save time going forward and make the time that you are spending with clients much more effective and hopefully profitable for you. Going one step deeper, so within these sequences here, this is where we could do things like automate the email. So, hey, thanks for completing the application. Here's a link to schedule your appointment. If they don't schedule an appointment, we could wait a day. Now, these timers, again, can be anything you want them to be, so don't get caught up on the times I have here. It's just to illustrate. But if they don't schedule an appointment, hey, did you forget? Don't forget, use this link to schedule your appointment. If they still don't schedule an appointment, hey, are you not finding a time or day that works well on my calendar? No problem, give me a call. Let's work it out. If they still don't do anything, maybe send an email. It's like, hey, what happened? You filled out the application, you never scheduled your session, and maybe you even set a reminder for yourself to actually pick up the phone and call these people. Now, step 2, again, your sales pipeline will likely be different than any one of these, but these are just examples. Again, I went cold, warm, hot, but you could also have new opportunity, working the opportunity, they requested a quote delivered, won or lost, sales accepted, need analysis. So you could do all types of things here. And then in these rectangles, again, you're going to provide some nurture content, so blog posts, emails, webinars, videos, etc. Again, putting it in there so that you never have to scramble like, oh yeah, I got a good link, or hey, I want you to watch this video, or hey, before we talk, do this. You can just automate all of that, which again is going to save you a tremendous amount of time. And then step 3, again, your checkout and your order forms, your payments. You can automate that, hey, got your payment, thanks so much, can't wait to, start a coaching program or whatever it is. And then your onboarding. This has been a big help in my businesses. So if you need data or information from clients before you talk to them, then you can create an onboarding process and use the automation of the follow-up to make sure that you get that. And if you don't get it, basically keep hounding these people. And you can even reschedule their appointment if you haven't gotten this information. So Let me give you a couple bonus ideas. So I touched on this earlier, but in step one, you can make the application really dynamic, meaning that you can design it so that the answers indicate to you which path these people are on. Are they a hot prospect, cold prospect, warm prospect, as an example. Um, you can also have multiple entry points bringing people to that application, right? So it doesn't just have to be an invitation email. It could be lead magnets, social media posts, ebooks, even physical books that you write. You could have call to actions in those books that lead people to that application. Within step two, you can use webinars and videos to get people more engaged, to indoctrinate them, to kind of pre-frame yourself and your program so that when they get on the phone with you, they're actually ready to pull out their credit card and pay for your time. You can also track their content consumption. So, right, if you're giving them emails and blog posts and videos and webinars, then it makes sense to actually track that so that you know who's engaged with you and who's not, right? Because if the person, if two people come through and they're in your funnel, and one person's watched the 3 videos you sent them in the webinar, well, that person more likely than not is going to be a easier person to convert on the sale than the person who hasn't watched any of that. And then step 3, again, is you can multiple options. So, let's say that you don't just have one coaching program. Maybe you have, 3 coaching programs, or maybe you have 2 coaching options and digital training membership. Based on which option the prospect purchases, then you would send them down different paths. So again, I didn't illustrate that in the step 3 of the screenshot. I just wanted to keep it really simple for you. But anyway, if you're a coach, if you're a consultant, if you're trading time for money, if you think this type of strategy can help you, I'd love to jump on a free Skype call and kind of go through how it might work in your business. If you know someone who's trading time for money, you think this could be helpful for them, by all means, please do them a favor and share this with them. And I look forward to helping you and anyone that you might know. All right, thanks.